Okay, cool.
Hold on. Get cozy.
It's always funny to be the only one on screen.
I just distract myself when I'm on screen.
Yeah, it's different to get used to, that's for sure.
Yeah.
Let's see.
The screen is weird.
It's weird. It's like the little boxes on the TV show in like the 90s, the Hollywood Squares. Is that what it was called?
Right.
Oh, yeah. Hmm.
There we go. Ah.
Okay.
All right, we're getting settled in.
Yes, sir.
We have Kathy, we have Anna, we have Katie, and we have Chad. Nice. Okay, that noise you hear in the background will stop shortly. Well, let's do a little round of check-ins. If you guys haven't already, maybe you did and I'm just late. But it's always good just to see where we're all at. I know I'm feeling pretty good. It's the Hallows Eve, and Christine was over earlier. We had a nice dinner and went down, and they're doing a bunch of pumpkin carving and then there's a movie night tonight in the dome. So that's what's happening here on the farm. But I'm grateful to be here with you guys. And yeah, winter's here, it seems. So kind of excited for this. I always think winter's so fast. It's only 120 days, really, 4 months before it's back to the spring. And so excited for this next 4 months. I think there's going to be a lot of growth and a lot of expansion in all of us on here. So I'm really looking forward to reflecting after 4 months. It's always nice to take a snapshot of where you're currently at, and then as you progress and move forward with your goals, then it's nice to be able to look back and say, yeah, I remember back 4 months ago when we were having these conversations. So I'm excited for that. So that's my check-in. And I'll pass it to Anna.
Okay. Thanks, Chad.
Yep.
Is it like rainy, blustery there right now?
No, not right now. It's not, but it has been. It's been crazy up here with wind and all sorts of stuff. No snow yet, but just in the higher elevations, lots of snow.
Oh, is there something on your face?
I think so. Blue thing on your face.
Oh,
Is that your
that might. Oh, it might have been rubbed off.
Waves.
It was some waves. Yeah, you see that?
nice?
Yeah.
I forgot about that.
Are you the ocean for Halloween?
Well, they were just doing face paint and stuff. Carlos was like this, dressed up as like this Mexican, like sombrero, like guy with a big hat and like the outfit, with the bull guy, whatever those are, the guys, the matador. So basically, he was getting a mustache painted, and then he's like, "Hey, you better get over here. I need to paint some waves on your face." I'm like, "Okay."
That's
Hey, guess
fun
what?
because today
Oh, go first.
there was a woman at my office who came as sand.
How
How did
was
she
that? How
do
did she make
that?
that? Yeah, what
Yeah.
did she do to become sand?
Well, I don't know if that was really her intention. She had all like the sand colored outfit on with beads that would look like shells. And so I said, "Oh, what are you supposed to be?" And she said, "Sand." Yeah. She's she's pretty clever. So,
Yep. Well, we all know sand. It can be super scary. Spooky sand. So
That's
what about your
true.
check-in? What did your check-in though, Anna? Like what's
okay.
happening with you? How do you feel?
I feel great because I was at Charlie's Angels last night. I was Natalie and uh Katie. Who were you? What's her name?
I
You were
don't know.
Drew.
I don't even know anything about Charlie's Angels, but there's three hot chicks. That's all I know.
Yeah, well, she was the redhead, Chad. I was the blonde. And Jen was Lucy Lou. Anyway, so we had so much fun. It was just we laughed and had good food, and it was so fun to just dress up and be a different character um and so yeah, I'm glad we can meet tonight because I did look in my The back office thing? I started looking at that today. Yeah, there we
Oh,
are.
nice. Awesome. Congratulations. There's a lot in there. Hey.
Yeah, I didn't get very far because
Yep. That's okay. Don't overwhelm yourself. The goal is what, like I always say, even if somebody just listen to this, you guys. If we just learn one thing every single day, guess where you'd be in a year from now? You'd be 365 things smarter.
Really
But
quick,
that
I'm
just
sorry.
means
I
like
was trying to show you guys the picture and I missed what it is that you're working on that you got through. Would you repeat that? I'm so sorry.
I looked at the app on the phone for the, is that called the back office?
In touch. There's two different things. I can
Okay.
help you later. Mhm.
Well, I kind of went in there today and looked around.
nice. Nice. Yeah. So there's the app, which has like all which is tools, which is what Katie's talking about. And then there's your back office, which is what we logged into last time we got together. Remember where it's like we pulled up the email Katie sent you, we put your username and your password, and then we went in and we could see like your auto ship and all that. That's your back office.
Okay.
So, well, thanks for checking
Well, what
in
you're
with that.
talking
Oh.
about has a shit ton of tools. So good job. And like Chad said, it's like little bits a day.
Yeah, just little bits, and then eventually, and just it's kind of like a new job. Picture a new job. You get there, you've never done the job before. And
Yeah.
instead of the manager saying, okay, you got the next week you're in training with the old person who's no longer wanting the job that you're taking. Okay, imagine that. So anyways, a lot of people get trained by the person who can't wait to get out of there.
That's not funny, but that's funny.
Oh,
It is.
anyhow, so
Hi, Laura.
in this situation, it's nice. We get to we actually, because you guys all showed up, all four of us who showed up, and I always include myself because every time we get to revisit and we get to grow together, it's like all training. Training is communication and how we communicate with others. So great check in, Anna. That was awesome. What about you, Kathy?
I'm just glad that I'm getting the garden harvested. A lot of stuff frozen. And yeah, that's about what I've been doing.
Nice.
Mm.
Is that something you do annually, like some preserves and get stuff like saved up for the winter?
Yeah, pretty well. It's mainly vegetables. So, but onions, potatoes. And I'm glad that my son was able to get out there and do it this year since I wasn't in the mood or physically able to do a lot of that.
Nice.
So it's been cool. Yep, it's great.
But that's okay because you get to do your part, which is like the actual like putting it away and preserving it and all that part. He's
Yeah,
out in the field harvesting it.
yeah.
Yeah.
You did really good too. I was way surprised. Very
Well,
happy.
he's probably got a good teacher.
Yeah. Oh, I hope so.
All right, that's a great check-in. And just out of curiosity, Kathy, have you logged into your back office at all? Have you heard that before?
Yeah.
Okay,
Katie and
cool.
I went in there the other day and I went in and have looked around to see what's different.
Nice. Yeah, yeah, me too. I was poking around in there, just kind of looking at a few things, and I still don't really know what I'm looking at. And
Yeah.
thank goodness we do have a Katie with us because she sent me a beautiful message that said, "Hey, just so you know, you can get paid more money if I like help you like get the cyclical thing going." And I'm like, in my mind, I'm like, okay, well, I don't know, but that sounds great.
Yeah, I
So
moved your legs without asking you, but I just
it's
went and
all
did
good. We all
it.
just we all just trust the process and trust the universe and be there to support one another, and it'll all develop and grow from that place of love and compassion.
Yeah.
It's never people, we never want to look at people as numbers or people as like dollars. And in this industry, it's really easy for people like, oh, if I can just get that guy or get that girl on my team. How many, like, I know I've said that. I'm sure we've all said that before. Oh my God, that person, if I could just get them on the team and they'd be great. Okay. So that's not the right approach. We don't want to get anybody.
Yeah.
And I do want to talk a little bit about that a little bit later too, because that's a really good.
Yeah.
And I also have to say, guess what? Chicken
What?
butt.
Chicken butt.
Anna's shirt has chicken butt. Guess what? Chicken butt. Anna's shirt literally says that. Stand up
Oh,
again,
nice.
Anna, and show them your shirt.
God.
Sorry, that was really
That's
Not
funny.
necessary. That's my check-in.
That's
Nice.
funny.
Well, you're checking in with getting ready to go to Spain in like freaking 9 days,
7 days. 7.
7 days, a
Not
week.
even, it's gonna be 6 when we wake up tomorrow. Yeah, and I had this really great idea because I have a duffel bag full of this woman's clothes that we're going to visit. So if I take a lot, because if I were to take the duffel bag, it'd be $400. But if I find enough of her clothes that I could wear for the week that I'm there, I could deliver some of her clothes back to her, and then I can buy myself some new clothes because I need some new shirts. And if I don't find any, it's okay. I'll just make sure to have one pair of clothes to get myself home in, and of my own clothes, right?
Should I do the same thing? Should I wear the rest of her clothes?
If you want to, you're a little bit skinnier than us, but it would actually, we would help fill her up with her clothes, and then we'd have sexier stuff that's not like stuff that we wear every day. Not saying her stuff is that sexy, I don't really know. But we could wear her stuff and then buy ourselves new stuff, and then we'd have empty backpacks to bring home new stuff.
And
And then
presents?
and presents, exactly. We don't even need to buy new clothes. Well, I do need some new clothes, but I can also buy them when I get home if I find presents to bring home. So tomorrow I'm gonna go through the duffel bag or sometime soon, obviously very soon. So I'll if you want to do the same thing, you're definitely welcome to. I think it'll be fun and it'd be a cool surprise for her. And that'll be my check-in. Life is really good and just taking more time to um like here I have a list of things to go through with us, and one of the words is trigger words, and just looking at my own triggers and seeing them as blessings because it's growth and where we see our own misalignments, right? So, and I don't know if you saw Chad. Lori has had a chance to hop on. If she's available to share where she just to check in, she can.
Okay. Oh, nice. We do have Lori here. Beautiful.
Multitasking here.
They're trick or
See,
treaters.
there's all the trick-or-treaters
We don't have
and my
any.
granddaughter. See how cute Addie is?
Hi.
Oh, okay, bye.
Yay!
I love you. I'll see you tomorrow. Okay, be careful.
Hi, Addie.
Okay. She was here and we went and walked around and did a little trick-or-treating in the rain. And then we were talking about candy and her dad just came to get her. And Tyler's dad is here from Arizona, and you know, Tyler's a big hunter and he has trail cams and all this stuff out in certain properties or wherever. And I guess there was some big buck and he's like, oh my gosh, this big buck never comes in and he's in. So I got to take my dad and we're going to go look for this buck. And so can Addie come over and trick or treat with you? Yeah. So she was here. So that was fun because I got to take her around a little bit in the neighborhood and stuff. So they're just leaving now. And so that was fun. And I don't know what else to check in. Everything's good. I'm so glad you guys are just like not like this whole life wave thing is just not stress. Like it's just about sharing the goodness with people, and it's all gonna work out. Because I've had a few drop offs and stuff, and I'm just still talking to the people and just being their friend, and they are my friends and I love them. So, but I love this whole atmosphere of how this works. It's not like this high stress thing, you know.
Make a
It's
list and
just
give me
like
all your people. No, just
have some
kidding.
fun. Yeah,
Well,
just have
did you
some
hear,
fun.
did you get on Lori when I said, that we don't want to get them?
Yeah, don't get them.
Okay, yeah,
Just
exactly.
love
But we've
them.
all said that. Oh, if I could just get that one, oh, if I could just get that chiropractor, or if I could just get
Oh
that
yeah,
acupuncturist, or if I could just get, oh my God, my niece, she'd be so good at this. If I could just get her on my team. See, like that's not the right frequency.
yeah. What's on your
Okay.
cheek?
Oh, waves.
Oh, that's cool. Cute.
Yeah.
Hey, life waves. Oh,
Oh, that's
and
funny.
you're a
None of us thought of
you're a
that. You're cute.
surfer and you surf on the waves. What a
Yeah.
coincidence.
Yeah. Well, I think the guy who put him on there, obviously, when he sees me, he knows I'm wave related. I'm
Yeah,
frequency and wave related, so that's good.
yeah. Cool.
Okay, so I was excited to hear the way that Katie said that because I was like, oh yeah, I like leaving in 10 days. I'm like, maybe 9. She's like, actually 7, and tomorrow it's like 6. Okay, so have you guys ever seen kids around Christmas? You know why they created an advent calendar with little chocolates? It's for that exact frequency that she's putting off. That's what's called like unbridled like enthusiasm for what to come. It's like if somebody said, Chad, you know what? I told the guys at work that you're not coming in for 2 weeks because I chartered a boat in the Mentawai Islands in Indonesia, and we're gonna go on a boat surfing trip for 2 weeks. Like that would like instantly I would get like I would get like all excited and antsy, and like I would start vibrating. I'd be like, oh my God, 6 days left. Oh, do I have enough wax? Ooh, sunscreen. Ooh, and I would start vibing. Okay, how many people have ever had that experience before? Yeah. Okay, let's breathe in because for some people it's about to happen. For some people, maybe it hasn't happened in a while. For some people, maybe it happens quite frequently. And maybe I I need to like be more grateful sometimes for that. So I'm just looking at myself and that frequency, and we can all create that for ourselves. And it's very authentic. Would you guys agree? It's very authentic.
Yes, I
So that,
agree.
yeah, right. It's like you set out you set out in your mind that you want to become a certain thing, say an international traveler. And then you say that enough times over and over again, like maybe a couple thousand times.
For
And not only do
years
you
and years.
Yeah, and not only do you say it a couple thousand times, but you start sharing it with people, which is even more important because it actually doesn't become real till you start sharing it. That's the funny part. You could say stuff to yourself all day long till you go to the grave and nothing will happen. But as soon as you start sharing that enthusiasm and those ideas with others, then all of a sudden it's like, well, I want to be your travel wife. Okay, travel wife. Well, I'm coming too. And now all of a sudden
Well,
there's like yep.
even on top of that, like Cynthia knew that I wanted to be a world traveler. And so she's been inviting me to Spain for 3 years. We came to Canada and I told you,
Yep.
Cynthia's been inviting me. And you said, Katie, have you heard of Skyscan? It goes $750 round trip to Spain. So if I would
Yeah,
have never
right.
told you that, I would have never known about the Skyscanner app either.
Yeah, right.
But yeah, so
See,
thank you.
that's right. So that's why we got to
Mhm.
share because basically you're like, oh, and I'm like, well, I was looking at Skyscanner, it was cheap, and you're like Skyscanner. So if we don't like share what we're excited about with others, then they can't support us in that journey. And you never know what someone knows because I know one thing for sure is we don't know what we don't know. That I know for sure.
Yep.
We don't know what we don't know, and if we don't know what we don't know, then we can only like approach stuff from that place of not knowing. And if we're naive, or maybe some technologies come along that's made stuff easier, and we're still driving an hour downtown and sitting at the travel agent and paying them a huge amount of money and like getting them to book a ticket and whatever. So there's older ways of doing stuff. Like you don't see too many actual travel agents around. Like back in the day, they were everywhere, and now there's a few. Does that make sense, you guys? So technology is almost like kind of mm, mm, almost made them obsolete to a certain extent.
Yeah.
Um, okay, so what we're going to do tonight, which I thought would be great because a review from last week was we kind of went over some of our core beliefs. You guys remember all that about the company and the industry and yourself and the team? You guys remember?
Yes.
Okay, good. So let's take a couple deep breaths just so that we're nice and relaxed because we're going to talk a little bit about the trust triangle, trigger words, and then like greeting and qualifying and inviting people. Okay, inviting people to what? We'll get to that point at the end, and you'll be like, well, that's easy. That makes sense. So let's start a little bit with the trigger words, and we can get some of that out of the way. And what we'll do is, Katie, if you could write this down, and we'll take these at the end. So ideally on these trainings, you guys, what's going to happen is on our journey of sharing And on our journey, certain things are going to happen. People are going to ask us certain questions. People are going to have certain objections. Certain scenarios might unfold that maybe either feel really, really good or don't feel good. Like I can use Lori as an example. Like it feels good when those customers get started, but when customers fall away or people on our team aren't engaging in certain areas, it doesn't feel the best. Okay, so when we bring that to this type of call, basically we can have a conversation around what that's like, what that feels like, best practices, how to move through it. So just write down, Katie, and we'll pick up. So if you guys are getting any objections or anything like that, like, it sounds expensive or it's too expensive or I don't do sales, or is this one of those pyramid schemes, or there's a gazillion. Well, there's not actually a gazillion. There's actually only about 18 to 20. That's actually not that many, to be honest with you. And once you master that, then it's easy. But as you're getting them, bring them to this call and we'll address them. So write down, Katie, that basically a couple people on my team fell away, and we'll address that at the end of the call. Okay, so let's get into some trigger words that will go along with the greeting and the inviting and the qualifying process. And I would love to open up the call to you guys as well, because we've all had experiences where we've been approached by other people for other opportunities, or maybe there's certain things people say that turn you off. So like, for example, there's a lot that we might say. I know that for sure, auto ship, for example, is a trigger word. Okay, like it's one of those words that is a part of the industry.
Thank you. Nope.
Oh, hold on.
Sorry, that was me.
Okay. So auto ship, for example, has both a positive and a negative. And if you're in the industry and you understand it, then it's a positive. But if you're not in the industry and you've had one of those companies who keeps charging your cards for products that you don't even consume and X, Y, and Z, okay, we've all heard and been there before, and I've had it happen to me, right? And I've had it where I'm like, oh, yeah, okay, I better get a pay-as-you-go credit card so that doesn't happen. But anywho,
Yeah.
so basically auto ship now, from a business standpoint, if I own a restaurant, auto ship is the same as saying regular customers. So when I own my restaurant, I have regular customers. Some people would eat at my restaurant every day, sometimes twice a day. Sometimes people would come twice a week, once a month. There was regulars. Okay. So regulars at a restaurant are on what's called an auto ship. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay, that's pretty self-explanatory. And then there's also companies like a Costco that makes people have a membership, an annual subscription, so that they can get products at a discount. Okay, so this is all related to what we do with direct sales as well. Do you guys see the correlations with both of those? So if you're a brand partner, there's probably an annual renewal fee to make sure your account is checked, and that makes sure that the IT team is paid, to make sure that your links are working and that you're tracking all your customers, and it keeps track of all your customers and their addresses and their phone numbers. And that's why Katie's doing really well, is because she's paying attention and with love and compassion to all the people on her team. Does that make sense? But without that back office that keeps track of all that stuff, there'd be no way she could do that. And so that's part of your annual fee that you would pay to be a brand partner. So that would be the same as a Costco membership. Now, auto ship, what it does is it allows a company like my restaurant, or it allows a company, say like LifeWave, to be able to have a bit of a forecast in their sales. Does that make sense? They can look across the entire platform and be like, okay, well, we've got 30,000 people signed up for auto ship at different dates. And this is the average amount. And so they can predict their average amount of inventory that they would need to carry in their warehouse. Is this all making sense?
Yes.
Okay, because I know at the restaurant, if I didn't keep track, I'd have a bunch of rotten food. So you have to keep track. Luckily, because we're in direct sales, let's all pat ourselves on the back. Literally do it, because you guys all deserve it. One of the nice things about direct sales is that we're not responsible for carrying a bunch of products in this day and age. Let me add that in. Back in the day, when direct sales first came out, they made you buy inventory like Mary Kay and Tupperware and all these other companies. They didn't have internet, they didn't have technology, none of that. If you wanted to be in the direct sales industry back in the day, you had to buy inventory. You guys remember a bunch of people who used to have a bunch of inventory and they were like, I don't want to buy a bunch of inventory that I can't sell?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's another objection. I'm just kind of helping you guys along here. So basically, in this day and age, though, we don't have to have that. In 2024, the actual industry of direct sales has actually come of age, in my opinion. Way back in the day, it was like fax machines and you were faxing forms and sign up sheets and all this. Like, so now we have like company that has warehouse and they keep track of all the inventory and they make sure it doesn't expire and all that kind of stuff. And when customers order, the company straight from their warehouse directly to the customer, and we don't have to deal with any inventory. Would you guys agree that's freaking awesome?
Yeah, much better.
Like, or would you rather open up a store and have somebody being paid minimum wage to stand there for 8 hours and hopefully sell a couple blouses and sneakers? Like, that's outdated. You guys, like, we're just not there anymore as a human culture. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So we're really on the cutting edge with making these decisions to be a part of an organization that already has all these amazing they already have all these amazing resources for us that we can leverage that would normally in business, because I've been there, cost a lot of money. It costs a lot of money to have people set up a website. But with this, guess what? One comes when you get started, you get your own website with your own name and everything. So it's just like, otherwise you'd be paying your IT guy out of your pocket.
Even
Katie,
with like right now I've had my tie-dyes on Etsy for over a year. And all of a sudden I was like, I'm not tie-dyeing for the winter. I'm like done for a minute. And now I had 4 of the same tie-dyes ordered in 1 week. And I was like, that is so stupid. But luckily I have inventory. But yes, I have to keep like I do need to order some dye, but it's just it's a lot.
yeah.
So yes, yes.
Exactly. And that's where we get into what's called is our business actually scalable? You guys have probably heard that term before. Is your business scalable? Which means like realistically, like you want to see somebody trip out. Katie does a freaking viral TikTok on tie-dyes and all of a sudden freaking half the world and she gets 500,000 tie-dye orders. She's going to be tripping out because we're not prepared for that. So all of a sudden it's going to be like, what? Ah, 500,000 a
Even
half a
right now, I'm
million
like,
tie-dyes
nobody order
in one
anything
night.
well
It
right
would be
now
like
because I'm
this
going to Spain.
explosion, right? I'm just hold on though, because this
Okay.
happens. It happens in real
Mhm.
life where people put out their thing to the masses, and all of a sudden they didn't realize that they were thinking small, and the masses want their product. So now they're like in this, like, well, I got to hire people. I can't actually. I need to make 500,000 tie-dyes, man. I can't do that myself. So now it's like, okay, now it's a different thing. Anyway, so is it scalable? Does that make sense? So we're in a business where we can leverage each other and we can leverage team and we can leverage all this stuff. And that basically allows it to be scalable, especially when you can train your teams. Would you guys agree that the best trained team is going to win? Like the
Yeah.
best trained team is going to win, hands down.
Yes.
So congratulations again. We're patting ourselves on the back for showing up tonight, because everything I'm talking about is just giving you guys an understanding and a different perspective of not just the industry, but business and how it correlates to what's going on around us. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Okay. So everything this is funny. I said this to a person the other 2 nights ago on a call. So every time that we are communicating with other human beings, okay, we're typically, believe it or not, we're selling something. So like if you see a really good movie, that's what we're selling. Or I asked Kathy how she was doing, and she was basically, yep, we got the potatoes in, we got the onions in, we're getting stuff set up here. And it's like, so you're selling me on preserving and getting ready for the winter and gardening and potatoes and all that stuff. And it sounds awesome. And I'm sold.
I didn't realize
100%.
you wanted in your house. So he is on the leaf. Oh, he's on the leaf. Come here.
Oh, yep.
Chad.
I didn't know he was gonna want to
Hold
come
on a
here.
sec. We're just
Katie.
gonna wait for Katie to stop talking.
Oh, okay. I'm so sorry. I thought I was muted.
That's
My
okay.
dog is being a weirdo.
Yeah.
He goes to the neighbor's house and he went over there but decided to come home, but then decided he needed to go back over there. And I thought I was muted. Sorry.
Yeah, put yourself on mute, please.
Uh,
Okay.
okay, so if we all think about like the amount of times I've told people about surfing because I've surfed so much, the amount that's like me selling surfing. Oh my God, it's so beautiful. You're out there, it's all calm and glassy, and there's like seals and these beautiful birds, and it's just surreal. Okay, it's really easy to sell it, right? I think of Anna and like her love for sheep. And she could sit here and tell us all kinds of stories about sheep and how red they are and like how they make her feel and all of these things. And that's how we create our realities, by how we communicate to others and those around us. So she's got a whole language around sheep. It's like surfing. There's a whole nother dialogue that goes with it. So why I'm saying that is because every day we're selling stuff, we just don't know it. And typically, like the lady we had seen this movie, and she was telling these people about this movie, and she didn't even realize how hard she was selling the movie. If she could actually see herself, she'd be like, basically be like, no, you guys gotta get the red Corvette. The red Corvette is so awesome with the top down in the wind. Like she was so hard selling the movie. Does that make sense? So every time we communicate with another human being, there's a sale being made. I'm either buying your story or you're buying mine. Like Katie could have called me up earlier and said, Chad, I got in a car accident. I'm not going to be able to be on the training tonight. I didn't get hurt, but I want to go to the hospital and get checked out anyways. Okay. And I could be like, hey, wait a minute. I'm not sold. You better show up on the training. You know what I mean? But I'd be like, no, God, that makes sense. Go in and get checked out for sure. So that means like what she said resonated with me to the point where I agreed with her. That makes sense, you guys? She could say, I'm not going to be on the train tonight because I just feel like I need a bit of a nap. And I'd be like, well, okay, but you know, there'll be plenty of time for sleeping when we're dead. No, I wouldn't actually say that, but
Sometimes you just ask for forgiveness later.
I
Right?
would say what I heard you say earlier is you actually want to get up to the next rank where you could actually be making $2,500 a month passive residual income, Katie. And you never know what might happen. And spending half an hour on this call could help you get that. Would that be valuable to you? Okay, great. I'm glad you're not napping. So it's about value. Now all of a sudden she's buying my story instead of me buying her taking a nap. And she's actually buying her own story because all I'm doing is repeating back her goals. And she's like, wait a minute. Yeah, you're right. That is more valuable than sleeping.
Actually, it's funny you say that because we did the conference, and the first day I thought it was 1 hour off, but it was actually two. So it started at 6:30 a.m. our time. So I was an hour late, but only because I was unaware of the time. But then the next day I said to Lori, I don't want to go to the office, but we both did wake up and get on at 6:30. And then I was thinking, if I was really dedicated, but also we were very dedicated. We didn't need to go to the office. Only one set of people went there. But anyway, so then it came to Monday morning and I started messaging with my mom's neighbor and my car's been making weird noises. And I said, if I was really serious about this, I would make time to go see my mom's neighbor today. And so, good night. And so that's what I did is I went and saw her and she got started right away. And so, yeah, it is funny how we get
There we
our
go.
ways by. Mhm.
Perfect. Okay, everybody write this down. This is worth writing down. Success is never convenient. If there was a drive-through for success, it would be lined up around the block. Okay, that's how convenient it would be for success. You could just line your car up and ask, I'll get one order of success, please. Okay, so success is never convenient. And I've got so many stories where I was like not into it, not feeling it. Like it was so astronomically out of my way to actually go and do, like absurdly go and do some of the things, but I chose to do them and it turned out to be the best decisions of my life.
Let me tell you what happened too when I left my mom's house. She doesn't know this, nobody knows this. But my car's been, it's fine now. But it was making these weird noises and it was doing this weird thing. And I said, dude, if you can just make it over this hill, we can coast down the hill and we can make it back to town. It'll be totally good. And then I went to videotape it, record it making the weird noise. It hasn't made the weird noise since. But it like almost didn't make it from over the hill. Like I didn't think I was gonna actually make it home.
Well, that's because it
And I
scared
knew
you.
that
That's because
going
it's
out there.
scared.
It's
It's like the car's like, oh my God, she's gonna fix me. I better not make that noise.
that's what my ego does. Huh, we better write that down.
I
Oh,
think that's part of Eckankar too. Their belief system that goes along with that.
that's right.
And feel free to say anything more, Mom, that might come through.
Oh, that's good. That's just what flashed in my mind as you guys were talking about that.
Yeah. Okay, so basically, we've all had these experiences. Now, let's get into what's called, because there's going to be trigger words. We talked about auto ship. I've mentioned a few along this kind of journey, just like, do I need a subscription? Like, so there's just certain things. And as you get these, bring them to the team and we'll have deeper discussions on them, because I can only hit these very shallow, if that makes sense. But there's much.
I
What's
don't
that?
think you said anything about preventative maintenance plan, calling it a preventative maintenance plan rather
Okay,
than
yeah.
a
What should we
MSO.
say? Yeah, then hey, that's a great question. Then if I don't call it an auto ship, what should I call it? These should be frequently asked questions, to be honest.
Go ahead and write that down. Thank you.
Yeah. So basically, auto ship is old terminology. Auto ship is like an industry terminology that was used when computers first came out, when they automated stuff. Okay, no one wants to be automated. No one wants to be on an auto ship. It's just, it doesn't feel good, and it's just a weird thing. Would you guys agree? It's just kind of a weird thing, but it makes sense why it's there.
Yeah.
It's nice. It sure is convenient. The other company I work for, they used to call it a convenience plan because it was really convenient to get your products delivered right to your mailbox instead of having to drive to the health food store or any of that kind of stuff. So there was actually quite a few perks. Usually when you have a convenience plan or an auto ship, you'll get a way better discount and cheaper products because you're a happy, satisfied return customer. And the company will reward those customers with like a 10 or a 15% discount. LifeWave does that. All companies should do that. They should reward their happy, satisfied customers. Does that make sense? But
Yeah.
when you go get gas, they don't do that. Okay. So, but I don't know. We're just unsatisfied. We're unsatisfied customers of the gas industry. I don't know if we're happy, satisfied customers. So maybe that's the difference. But anywho.
Happy unsatisfied.
Yep. So there's I like to say to people really from a health prevention. So when we look at our life wheel and we know we have a financial component to the life wheel, and we also know that we have a health part of the life wheel. So the auto ship, when it comes to the health side of the life wheel, your auto ship is basically your monthly preventative maintenance plan. Or if you've got a bunch of damage and you're trying to repair it, it's basically your healthcare plan. It's like your healthcare plan so that you can feel better and live life like healthier than most people. Does that make sense, you guys? Because we're
Yeah.
choosing to spend money. We are our own greatest asset. You are your own greatest asset, not your car, not your lawnmower, not your house. Because you don't need those things if you're not around. So you're your own greatest asset. And so we're all worth spending money on. So once again, we're patting ourselves on the back because we have an auto ship or we have a convenience plan or what I like to call my monthly preventative maintenance plan. It's just like, it's a way nicer way to treat myself and be proud with who I am and love myself for even willing to do it. Does that make sense, you guys? Because most people aren't even willing to do it. They don't love themselves enough.
Right.
So that's really what it is. And you can think of it now on a spiritual side of that. It's like that's really what an auto ship will actually allow people to get into basically a better behavioral pattern, and they could basically substitute healthy products instead of addiction or bad products in their life. And so once again, the auto ship could be also used as a beneficiary, like behavioral pattern changer, like for society as a whole, if that makes sense. If everybody, think of that, if everybody was willing to spend money so that they weren't showing up to be patients of big pharma, that would be incredible. So anywho, and then now we have that wealth side of the life wheel. And when it
Really
comes to
quick,
auto
I
ship, oh,
think, Anna, were you going to say something? I saw you did unmute just a second ago.
Oh, I guess just a comment that that's such a nice way to, people are like, they'll go to the doctor and they'll wait in line for the first prescription, but to have something come to you automatic like that, I'd be like, well, that's so much easier because then you're getting good stuff and you're no effort.
yeah,
It's the automatic keying system.
I knew you were
yep,
going to say that. And also
automatic
my
key-in
client,
system.
he's like, he doesn't want an auto ship. And then guess what happened? He ran out of the products twice now. It's not funny, but it is
Oh my
funny because,
goodness.
and so now he's like, he still won't do an auto ship. He makes me order for him every month. So he said, I don't have enough money, da da da. And then he's like, well, to put an auto ship. And then he said, well, maybe I should order more patches before you go. Because I said, Dan, your auto ship would come out while I'm gone, and I'm not going to have my computer, so I won't be able to order for you. And he goes, well, then maybe I should order before you go. And it's like, well, I didn't say this, but 2 sentences ago, you just told me you don't have enough money. And now you're telling me to do an auto ship.
Yep,
And now you're telling me that you have enough money to order it 2 weeks earlier, but because of that trigger word, right? So it
yep,
is,
exactly what it is. And Katie's smart. So now really when she talks to Dan, she's going to say, Dan, you know what? I know you love the products and I know you don't like to have an auto ship, and I understand, but I have an opportunity where I can help you never pay for LifeWave. And if you could get free LifeWave products for the rest of your life instead of paying and worried about a silly auto ship, would that be of value to you? And then there's actually a way to actually upgrade our customers to team builders, just even if they still they don't want to build a business. Trigger word, beep, 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 beep. They don't want to build a business. Boop, boop, boop. This is just a happy, satisfied customer. And we just want to be able to give them the opportunity to get free products if they so choose. If we don't give them that opportunity, we're not as authentic and rad as we think we are. And
actually, I
so,
gotta tell you that he's smart. He's like, I was offered to get into the coffee shops and I was offered to get into McDonald's, and I said no to both of them. And now I'm shooting myself in the foot. So he actually does share it with people, but he doesn't show up to trainings to learn how to share it with people to invite people.
well,
So
that you just got to say,
it's
let me help you. Let me
yes,
help
yes,
you.
yes,
Whatever it
yes.
takes. I'll do whatever it
Hmm.
takes to make sure, Dan, you never pay. Whatever, like I'll be out, like whatever we got to do. Let's just draw out your hearts and we'll hypothetically go through some scenarios and see how it feels. If you like how it feels, then we can proceed. If you don't like how it feels, you don't have to. It's simple. That makes sense, you guys? So that's how Katie could possibly upgrade a customer she's had for a while or wants to share with people, but he's reluctant for whatever. He's obviously got a hold up. What's happened in the past is he's just had his credit card charged over and over and over again, and he couldn't afford it, and
Well,
from another
that
company at some other point. And so now he's got a bit of a cavity in his tooth from that experience.
Well, I
And
think
so
it's that, and also it's that when we don't show up for any type of training, how do we share, right? Like then you're gonna go fire hose your friends. So he
yep,
has been sharing. He shares about the foot baths, he shares about the patches, but
yep, it's true. But
how
if he
are
never
we
if
sharing it? Mhm.
it's like this, Dan can try and share, but if he never learns the four rules and never learns the trust triangle and does not understand what we're doing here as far as like how to actually build proper relationships, we're in the industry of relationship marketing, not selling products to people.
Yeah, he's like not super open to learning because I'm really grateful because he chose to keep going with X39 and Eon, because he swears that the Eon really helps his pain. And I said, Dan, when you're at work, you are really focused. When we have a conversation, I think the Eon will really be helpful because
Yeah.
he's turning 70 in December, and he's like all over. He's like super ADD, and I love him, but I think there's going to be some time of becoming a little more focused and like being able to sit through an entire conversation and stay focused on what somebody's saying before making a joke and changing this conversation. So
Yeah. And so
everybody's a
now,
different.
yep. And so now, kind of like, so think of it this way, Lori. So when you say, oh, I got a couple people on my team, that maybe fell away or whatever, once again, when we use the words fall away, that Katie tried to do that with me, and I'm like, I actually didn't go anywhere. I actually didn't fall down at all. So I don't know why you say I fell somewhere. I've been here the whole time. So I appreciate the positive energy you've been giving me, but I'm not falling. So we
Well, then
hold
what would you
space.
call
So,
yourself or call the people that
yep.
fall away? Because I've had some people fall away
No,
and
we're
I've
going to talk
always,
about it right now. No, we're going to talk about it right now. So basically, so someone like Dan can be much harder to deal with than, say, someone who falls away, quote unquote, because at least people who fall away, they are authentic to your face and they'll say stuff and they won't engage. And it's really easy that they're not a green. It's really easy to see that they're not what's called a green apple. Okay, so you're going to have three types of people. You're going to have what's called a green apple. You guys might want to write this down because this is going to help you. You can evaluate as you're communicating with people. So a green apple, boom. We all know what a green apple is. It's ready. You pick it from the tree. It's sweet. It tastes good. There's no bruises on it. It's like ready to go. So I always say a green apple is someone who is leaning forward, open-minded, leaning forward, and coachable. Those three words. A green apple is someone who is open-minded, leaning forward, and coachable. Once again, we can all pat ourselves on the back because we're all green apples. We're all open-minded. All of us are leaning forward and all of us are coachable. Okay, does that make sense, you guys? That's why we're here tonight. Okay, then you're gonna have or sorry, that's red apples. Sorry, red apples are the ones that are ripe. So the red apples, the green apples are not quite ready yet. So sorry about that. I just got those two mixed up. Red apples are who we are, which is leaning forward, open-minded, and coachable. Green apples are people who just aren't quite ready yet. They're just not quite ripe, if that makes sense. They need a little more dripping. They need a little more education so they can make an educated decision. Green apples aren't quite ready to make a decision yet. They're not quite ready to move forward in their business yet, but yet they've said yes. Does that make sense? And if they haven't said yes, they're close to saying yes. They just need to have a couple of more exposures based off their values. So that means finding the right tool. Like we talked about, Anna, you find the right tool that resonates with the person's values, right? So and then the more drips. You've heard Katie about planting seeds and dripping exposures and dripping educational experiences so that someone feels very educated when they get started. They're like, oh my God, that third video you sent me is freaking, that's the one. Okay, that's the one. I'm getting started. Like you'll be surprised. People will actually get themselves started if you educate them properly. Does that make sense? They'll get themselves started. You'll come home and you'll be like, oh my God, 3 people started in my team. And it's like, and then I have to call them up and say, hey, I seen you got started. They're like, yeah, man, that last video you sent me, I'm so grateful you got me in touch with Katie. What she told me was exactly what I needed to hear. I'm so grateful that you did this. And so basically we stay patient, but we drip education. So to our green apples, and green apples, they're just not ripe yet. That's all it is. And we're going to have most of the people in your list are green apples because they don't know what they don't know. That makes sense? We don't know what we don't know. So, and we're still learning. So, and then every once in a while, you will find someone who's like much more advanced. They'd be like you guys, any one of you guys could have bumped into me on the street and been like, hey, and recruited me and not knowing that I had experience in this industry. Does that make sense? And I could have been like, oh my God, yeah, this is awesome. I totally want to be involved, which is a trigger word, involved. No one really wants to be, oh yeah, you should come and get involved. No, I'm too busy. I got too much going on. Don't use the word involved. Trust me. Okay. And so you see myself, I'm catching myself using trigger words. So that's as I'm using them, you guys are going to see me catch myself. And then you're going to be like, okay, yep. And I'll let you know that that's one of the words. And that's going to be ongoing throughout the trainings. Like that's going to be like a little thing. It'll pop up and I'll be like, oh, trigger word. And then you guys can like write it down or be aware of it or even share an experience when you've had that come up for you. Does that make sense? Perfect. Okay. And then the last apple is what's called a rotten apple. So you got red apples, green apples, and rotten apples, you guys. Okay. And one rotten apple spoils the whole bunch. I have literally had a thriving team, and someone on my team like recruited this negative Nancy, full on Karen / negative Nancy, and all she could do was find stuff that was wrong with everything. It was ridiculous. Like every single thing there was something wrong with it. Okay. And it was almost like pouring poison upstream and killing all my team. Like they just were like, oh my God, I don't want to come on Thursday if so and so is going to be there. Okay, so we don't want so you don't, so then now we're thinking about when I'm greeting and I'm qualifying people, what type of apple are they? Like when you're actually having a conversation before you've even brought up a solution for these people. That's what I said to Katie. I'm like, man, stay in conversation with these people as long as you can and make them squirm in all their pain points. They don't even know you have a solution. Haha. And then you can find out if they're a red apple, a green apple, or a rotten apple before you even offer your solution. If you don't know which one of those three they are before you offer your solution, then you're offering it too early. You should almost be able to tell by how someone's showing up what type of an apple they are. Does that make sense? And then, so what I know is if I do if I sent you this video, would you watch it? And they say yes, and then they watch it, then they're actually a green apple. If I say, hey, hey, have you ever seen the movie Brilliant Compensation? No. So if I sent it to you, would you watch it? Yes. So if I send it to them and they don't watch it, I don't put them in the rotten apple yet because they could have gotten a car accident. They could have had a pregnancy and had a kid. They could be taking care of their parents. You don't ever want to make up a story on why they didn't want to watch the movie, ever. All you want to do is just hold love. Hey, haven't heard from you a while. Hey, I woke up. I just want you to know I'm grateful for you. Just like gratitude text. Now we're back to the beginning of friends first. We're back to the beginning of being authentic, and it's not about selling the products. Does that make sense? When people want it, they will engage and they become red to green, and they'll be leaning forward and they'll say, oh my God, yes, 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 yes. Does that make sense, you guys? You know how many times I've seen people, okay, so there's a cold market and a warm market. We've gone over this. Warm market is your friends and family. Cold market is people you don't know. For some strange reason, every company in this industry tells people to make a list of everybody they know, which is their warm market. And then basically with no training and communication skills whatsoever, basically burn holes in their family and friends. I don't even know who thought that would be a good idea. I have to laugh because it's so freaking prevalent. No wonder there's so many people with bad results because they just don't know what they don't know. Once again, because have you guys noticed in LifeWave that there's a lot of people who are making really good money? And then have you guys noticed in LifeWave, there's just a whole bunch of people who just have their products paid for and are just trying to get their products paid for? Okay. So that's great because you know what it means? It means that every single person in the company, we all have the exact same products. And we also have the exact same compensation plan, which means it's about how we approach it that makes the difference. If we approach it shitty, we're going to get X results. And if we approach it right, we're going to get better results because we have the exact same comp plan of the people who've already done it before us. And we have the exact same products they're using to get there, which means, okay, it's equal. It's not like, oh, they got there first. No, they're just probably better communicators. They probably just witness people and ask lots of good questions and respond and have all their tools in their tool belt. And they're probably trained. Does that make sense?
Is a really great point going into the last 2 minutes. And when
Oh,
I get
yeah.
back from Spain, I do want to create a new overview. And Chad suggested this quite a few times, of creating an overview that is recorded because a lot of times people can't show up at 8 a.m. or 9 a.m. or 4 p.m. or whatever. And today I experienced with a client that I didn't invite them to an overview, somebody else did. Thank you for showing up to the overview, Lori, because in the future you're going to be very helpful in this person's life, and you don't even yeah. So when we got off the call, today was actually a shitty day. Uh she messaged me and was like, I had so much anxiety. And I was like, oh, tell me more. I said, do you want to get on a call? And so we did. And she was like, and the way that I see the overview is it starts with science and then it goes into products and then it goes into business. And she was like, they started with business and then they went into products and then they went back to business. And I'm somebody having a health crisis and I don't want to build a business right now. And literally she got on the phone crying, and it was a really shitty feeling. And so I am going to be asking people to be parts of these overviews that we create, and I do think that it'd be advantageous to record them and, yeah, do like science and products and science and business, because yeah, it's not a good feeling. And she's not the only person that does not want to go to an overview where they're being overwhelmed with all the information.
Yeah.
And also
So
when it comes to
let
like
me
the
shed
products, let's talk about 5 products, not all 13.
Yeah, let me shed some light. You guys have heard me talk about the line. On one side, you've got products and customers, and on the other side, you have team builders, not business builders, not building people building businesses. You have team partners, brand partners even works. That's even like that works. Okay. And no one's above us or below us. Also trigger words. I gotta say it. We're not like, oh, Katie's above us, or I'm in their downline or upline, any of those kinds of things. No, we're in this
Well, we
together.
did good with like team and brand partners, but even the girl was like, I don't want to be a part of a team right now. I want to, Lori, I see that you do have something. And I do think that the overviews are great, but I think that exactly what you're saying, Chad, is that they need to be separated. And when I asked the person who invited her to the event, I said, why did you invite her to a LifeWave overview? And she said, oh, because she said she wanted to learn more. And I said, did she say what she wanted to learn more about? And she was like, well, we had these conversations, but I didn't know that she had anxiety. And I said, well, then if you didn't know that she had anxiety, then you didn't have these conversations with her. Because if you would have had conversations with her, you would have asked her what she was more interested in, the business or the products. And then you would have invited her to whatever was
Yeah,
most important to her. So to me, that shows that you didn't have that conversation, which is fine because we're all learning. And also, I want to lead with health wills and life wills, because if we don't have those conversations, we don't know what people want, and then we just start throwing
yeah,
all this information at them and they get overwhelmed. Sorry, I
yeah,
invited you to talk, Lori, and then I interrupted you. And Chad probably has stuff to say too.
Is it, am I on, am I good now? Yeah?
Yes,
yep,
thank you.
So I just wanted to say that as a person with, who's always had pretty high anxiety, and when I first started on, with LifeWave, I can vividly remember our, call with Katie and Renee, and I don't remember if it was so maybe I don't vividly remember, but I remember the feeling of having anxiety and being overwhelmed because there was too much information and too much all at once for me, which is as my highly sensitive self, that I understand myself and what's going on with me. And this other person that has high anxiety or whatever, I will say that it would have been more comfortable to just kind of grasp the idea of, hey, there's these patches and there's
mhm,
X39 and it does all these things and in this and maybe the Eon, because that's for, that has helped my anxiety tremendously. Just giving a small little, here's an overview, David Schmidt, here's what he's doing, here's the patches, here's a couple. How do you feel about that? Short, sweeter.
Well, and
Just
then
chew
asking
on
you.
that for a minute. If we had an overview that was just that didn't even
yeah.
go any of the business part of it at all. And
Let me just share a little bit. I understand, Lori. I totally
I
get it. I
want
totally
to share.
understand that. I have
Thank
felt
you.
that. I
Yes.
have felt that anxiety. I have felt that too much. Like people cramming. They were basically hitting, I call it the fact axe. Okay, they're sitting there. It's an hour long, 45 minutes long, and they just hitting you with the fact axe for 45 minutes to the point where you're like, okay, I got it, dude. Trust me, I get it. And I will never, ever invite someone to that. Ever, ever. Never.
Really?
As I'm so will never do that. Okay, so Katie's heard me say this. To be a good communicator, listen to you guys might want to write this down. To be a great communicator, the number one thing you need to do is know your audience. If you don't know your audience, okay, so the problem with inviting people to a random overview with random upline that are overly excited is they don't know who you're fucking inviting. And if they did, they're still going to show up the way they want. They're not going to actually meet the person where they're at because they're all got to put their nice clothes on because they got to be presenters and facilitators. And they've got this weird freaking thing going on. Instead of being authentic, they have to show up with the suit and tie or whatever it is. So what I'm saying is it doesn't work in 2024. That might have worked in like the early mid 80s and into the early 90s. But if you guys want a rad, young, cool team of people who are like moving forward, they don't resonate with any of that at all, ever. Okay, great. So what they need is what you said, Lori. They need a 3-minute video about the patches and the products so that if somebody just wants to only get a quick, remember, you're better off to send somebody 5 3-minute tools than you are 1 hour long drawn out sleepy thing. Okay, so basically, because it's about dripping and self-education, and if it's too much, you're defeating the purpose from the very beginning. They shut down, and the minute someone shuts down, they're not educating. Now you're cramming. Now you're hard selling. They feel like they have to stay there, and they don't want to be there. Does that make sense? So what we need is we need a 3 to 5 minute video that's just how rad these products are with a couple testimonies. And then we need another video that's 3 to 5 minutes long about what I talk about. Like, I'm going to do the business one because I can fucking create a business one that's relatable, that whether it's whatever we talk about, auto ship, the value of the business in 2024 with no inventory, no accounts payable, no accounts receivable. I can be my own little Tim Sales, trust me. So we can make a wicked video on the industry and how LifeWave fits into this, how it fits in as a solution for people that are in these places. And it'll be short and sweet, simple. So then when we find people, when we're talking to people and we're asking them questions, because remember, you're better off to be interested in people than be interesting. If you're trying to tell people about LifeWave, you got to be interesting or they won't buy it. So don't bother. You're better off to be interested in them and find out more about them, and don't offer your solution until you find out who they are, what they want, how long they've wanted it, what are they doing about it, how does it feel for them when it acts up. Oh my God, what I heard you say is you got a buggered knee. How does it feel for you when it swells up? Ooh, ouch, ouch, that must hurt. How long have you had that problem? Really? And what have you done about it? Oh, so you're going to acupuncture and you're taking a glutathione product that's supposed to reduce your inflammation. But if it was working, like, wouldn't you, like, you still have inflammation? So if it was working, wouldn't you, like, if it was working, would you have it? Like, would you, you wouldn't have that limp still if it was working. You told me you've been taking this stuff for X months.
That's
I'm
a
just
really
using it as
good
an
point.
example.
So
Yeah.
thank you, because it's like Lori used the carnosine and the glutathione, and now she doesn't limp, but you watch people using those things that are still limping.
Yeah, you got to
Thank
make,
you.
because everybody's doing something about their thing. So you got to say, how long have you been doing it? How long have you been taking the glutathione? They don't even know you got a solution yet. They don't even know.
Well, I
You guys
remember too
see how
watching
patient? Yeah, most people have happy ears, and the minute they hear sore knee, they're like, LifeWave, Eon,
well,
X39,
not only that,
X49, Ice Wave. It's like, ah.
you just brought in a whole new concept for, I feel like, a lot of people on this call. And I remember watching you and Summer doing role playing. I used to hate role playing, now I don't mind it. But you were talking about how to walk people into their pain, just like you're saying, oh, your knee pain, how long have you had it? What are you doing for it? And like just being able to help them sit in their pain and then bring them back to a space of hope. So like I don't know if Anna's niece will ever get started with the products because we never know with anybody, but we were like, we talked to her and then I was like, oh, I think her screen froze, Anna. And she goes, no, I'm crying. It's not funny, but it was really good because we were paused for so long because we did really good at the pregnant pause. But by the end of the call, she was happy. And why she was happy is because we gave her hope. Whether she gets started with LifeWave or not, we still gave her hope by having
That's
conversations with
right.
people.
That's right, man. I can tell you this much. The reason that she cried was because you were authentic, you were friends first, Okay, absolutely friends first. There's no doubt about it that you killed every single 4 rules. You left her with intention. You left her better than you found her, and you are not attached or have an expectation to an outcome. So therefore, you have left her way better than she was found in every aspect. She was witnessed. So that's great. Now it's about the follow
That's so
through.
true because that's all she really wanted. And I did follow up like the very next day, but it is about following up more and more. And yeah, I
And it's
don't
about
remember.
matching the tools. It's about knowing your audience and matching the tools, which is what I said to Anna. And we're talking about her sister. And her sister's like, okay, but her sister really, her main value is she's got this son, and her son's not has these developmental challenges. And I know any parent with a son who has it's like Lynn Rayner. Any parent with a freaking son who has developmental challenges would love to have something that would make their kid not be angry, not have anxiety, not be yelling, screaming, kicking, and sprouting all over the town. And if they can
So I
find a product for that, that'll be the more valuable than the sister getting started.
Well, I think that because I did go on to affordable light therapy, and because we can't use diagnosis, and kids are not often a test subject, right? And so, and I know that Cooper's not a child, he's an adult age now, but I think that even like looking at anybody on our team that has less anxiety, like honestly, Anna, my ex-husband would tell you that I have autism. Maybe my own mom will tell you that I have autism and OCD. Like, I am super fucking particular about things like today. Could I stop myself from flipping out on Renee? I didn't even flip out on her, but I told her all of the things that I felt were true, and I could not stop myself. Could I stop myself from telling Mia the things yesterday? No. I was a bitch to my mom yesterday or the day before, and it was actually my own fault with my mom. And even when I was talking to my mom and getting frustrated with her, I was like, Katie, don't be a dick. And then I was like, my mom should know how to copy and paste. What if my mom doesn't know how to copy and paste? And so, and honestly, once you make
It's
commission, you don't even get an email for 2 fucking weeks. And so it was my fault because I was having my mom look for something that didn't even exist yet. And so, sorry, that was a whole big rant, but I'm probably autistic is because that's why I have no filter. So Anna, you may love my no filter and my processing out loud, but it's probably a sign of autism and like my weird memory. Like most people could not smoke weed from the time they woke up to the time they went to bed and remember the stuff that I remember and to be able to regurgitate it back to everybody. I feel like that might be a sign of autism. I don't know. I've never been diagnosed with
Yep.
anything because my mom was cool enough to not take me to a doctor that was going to lie to me and put me on pharmaceuticals that would stunt my growth.
Yay,
So,
Kathy. Smart.
yes.
It's partly your Gemini too. That's
Oh yeah. So Katie's right. Actually, we could just record a Zoom with me asking Katie some questions about LifeWave, and she could create a rad 3-minute video around the value of it and what it does for anger and anxiety and rage and all of these things. And it would be so authentic that your sister would be like, okay, yeah, but that's
Her
not her
sister
value.
loves me.
Okay, well, there we go. Anyways,
Her
I'm
sister
just,
hugs me and doesn't hug other people. Sorry, but I just gotta throw that out there.
well, maybe you smell good.
Maybe. Go ahead, Lori. What were you gonna say?
Smell like marijuana. No, just kidding. And then that makes
That's good.
everybody happy. You know?
Yeah.
I was just gonna say it would be super cool if we had little videos that were like, and I'm sorry, but targeted for the new person that's just coming in. And then the next step for that person, another little video. And then you want to send them like 4 days
Bless
later.
our hearts.
It's got a little thing. And we had all these in one place. So we just had those tools and we could just say, oh, this goes new person, this person.
Lori, you're witnessed. You're witnessed.
Okay.
I've been in this game so long that I already know that's what the team needs and that our team cannot be successful without it. So much so that I spent so much time building that for the last company I was at. It was just like, if we don't have that, we can't do it. We need little videos with Chad and Katie explaining everything, and then a wicked FAQ explaining stuff in layman's terms, not doctor science, and not like no flashy lights and no fucking weirdness.
Yeah, just keep like
real people having real conversations about real stuff. Yeah, it's way more effective.
Yeah, let's build that. Let's all build that. I want to help.
All right, let's
Yes.
do it.
So when I get back, that's what we're gonna do. Okay, guys?
Yep. We're already
Okay.
started, actually, Lori. It's not that we haven't started. We've already started. Katie's got the first thing she's got is this beautiful welcome email that both Anna and I had to totally go back and use in order to move forward. So that's one example. This conversation right now of how frustrating it is to be fucking watching our friends being invited and then cry and have be filled with anxiety because like who wants to invite their people to that? And I can tell you, you're only going to invite people to that so many times before you either get pissed off or quit. So we may as well change it. So and
I do gotta say really quick that Lori helped to construct that beautiful email
I
because
believe it. I
yeah,
believe it. It was well written, well written.
Well,
So
or
I think,
get little just things to send, like
yep,
with a
wait, you
and
guys,
it's not a video, just, like
yes,
Jennifer
we need to
Sullivan stuff too.
yep, we need to create a vault. We need to just start
yes.
creating a vault right now in Google Drive. It has to be in Google Drive because it's shareable and we just need to start putting our stuff in there. And we need to have brilliant
Well, okay.
compensation needs to be in there. Rise needs to be in there so that everybody on the team can grab the link and send the video at any time, whether it's 2 a.m. or whether it's fucking 5 p.m. If they can't go in and get the link to brilliant compensation, if my team is
Yeah,
relying
yeah,
on me to send their people brilliant compensation, I'm fucked.
no,
I'm
yeah,
never sleeping again before I go to Spain, but it's okay because I get to sleep a lot on the plane.
We need
So
to set up duplicatable systems so that we can all
Katie,
go to the beach and
sleeping
go
too much.
surfing.
You fell asleep the other day. It was
I
just
know what we need to
I
go
no,
have been
surfing. We
sleeping
need
too much because
duplicatable
I needed
systems.
to
I'm
re-energize myself
kidding.
for this. Okay,
And
so
you're Jane.
I do have to say, A, I do agree 100%. B, it's 8:15, so if anybody needs to leave, please don't feel obligated to stay, but if you want to stay, definitely please do. And C, I have decided to commit to tagging like everybody on the team in an affordable for you light therapy post every couple of days. So like if you guys haven't looked in your notifications today, do. And you will have been tagged in a photo of a woman that had psoriasis. Shit, mom, you're not tagged in it. I'm sorry. I'll go tag you. She had psoriasis, and within 35 days of using Eon and X39, her psoriasis is completely gone. And she's had it since for like 16 years or more. Probably more. I'm probably quoting that wrong, but 16 is
Yep.
way little compared to what I think it really was. And then in
Yep.
addition to that, I've also committed to resending out the email. So, Chad, I feel like I resent you the email. Mom, I haven't sent you the email yet. And my concern before was that I didn't want to send an email that had business and customer things in it. But what I've done is consulted with my buddy ChatGPT, and I have this beautiful wording that says, we have this uh, stockpile of information, look through whatever resonates with you, take it all or leave it all. And these are the different opportunities. And I'll connect back with you within a week. And then I need to connect back with all the people within a week. And with the tagging in the affordable light therapy for you, one of my clients that fell away, she said, "Oh, this is such great information." And in there I said, "Feel free to look at all the stories in this affordable light therapy for you group." So I think that when you prompt people to go like do these things, then they hear it different because they don't
Yep.
know to do that, right? And so you have to prompt them to do it.
Yep. It's true. That's what I know for sure. I've learned in time. And Lori, this is huge. People will never fall away if they're actually super self-educated.
Mhm.
Okay, you're self-educated, you're not going anywhere. Katie's self-educated, she's not going anywhere. I'm self-educated, I'm not going anywhere. The only people I've met that fall away are people who made really quick, uneducated decisions because they felt that it was a good idea at the time, which is a good thing, but it's just not the best way to approach it. And usually that's when people are so excited that they tell people because they're so excited. And then people are like, yeah, I love your excitement. I'm going to try it because you're excited. And then they're like, well, you're excited, but I'm not that excited. I don't think I need it anymore.
Okay, also that makes a lot of sense too of that why people wouldn't be willing to share because if they're not educated enough, they don't understand it enough.
Yeah, they
That
don't see,
like,
they don't
yeah.
feel the value.
Mhm. And there's
You got to
even
feel the
three
value
videos.
before you even buy it.
Mhm.
A lot of people buy it and hope they feel it. And I'm saying that's wrong. What you want to do is become so educated that you feel the value before you purchase it. And then when you purchase it, it's almost like placebo. The patches are working in the mail.
Right. That's good. You know, I remember when I bought my first new car, and that salesman, I was so impressed with him. This kid, he knew everything about a Honda CRV. He could tell. He just rattled all this stuff off, everything, like all kinds of stuff. And I thought, you know, this kid, he knows the book from one end to the other, and that was very impressive to me to learn and have all this knowledge about the CRV from this guy. And that, I mean, that was a big part of why I bought it. And I'm glad I did. It lasted forever, but well, not
That's
forever.
funny
Till
because
time
my
blew it up.
ex-husband made me go educate myself. He said, Katie, you need to go on consumerreport.com. You have to pay for it, and you have to go find out what the best cars are. Guess what the best car is?
Is.
Honda CRV or a
Oh, it is?
Toyota RAV4. And so that guy just happened to know, but it's fun because we all get educated differently. Like I
Yeah,
personally do like to learn from other people. Actually, Jansen probably did all the work and told me all the stuff, honestly.
Yeah.
I
Well,
just
Christine did.
remember
Christine did that too. She just bought a car and she did all the work. She did that same thing. She got on there and she was like, okay, yeah, what are the best cars? And then she's like, oh yeah, but not only that, it's actually up to this year because after 2012, they changed the transmission and then they had problems. So I only want a CRV that's up to a 2011. She started moving her head like this, as if she was like, I'm an expert in the whole thing. It
Does
was
she
so
have
funny to
one
watch.
yet?
Yep, she does. Yep, she got it.
Oh,
a
Yep.
what
CRV.
year is it?
It's a 2007 with like
Does it
100.
have the built-in table?
Yep, it's got the
The
built-in
built-in
table.
picnic table? That built-in picnic table is only in the years 2006 to 2000, either 9 or 14, but I think it was
Yeah.
2009.
My
2009.
one had that
Because I have that
table in it.
picnic
I
table too,
loved
yeah.
it. Yeah.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
That's so
Yep.
funny that
Well, that's
she's got a
cool.
CRV too.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's because we all did our research,
Yeah, they're
or at least, and so that's,
great
and
cars.
yep, exactly. So well, I hope you guys had a good time tonight.
Thank you guys all so
Yeah.
much.
Thank you.
And I know we did talk about a lot, and it may seem like it's kind of all over the place, but trust me, it's actually all connected. It's all connected. And we had talked a bit about trigger words. We didn't get too much into the greeting and the qualifying and the inviting, but we did talk about the apples. And so my action item to you guys is when you're talking with people this week, no matter who it is, no matter what you're talking about, just look and see if where people are at, and just use your apples as a bit of a spectrum, if that makes sense. Because you could say
I
one
have to
thing,
ask,
I don't know if you're open to learning about that or not. That's all you got to say. And if somebody says they are, then guess what? They are leaning forward and open-minded.
so
And yeah,
next
you
week
found
at
all
the
that out. You found all that out without doing anything.
without doing anything.
So if you're open to, if somebody's open, all you got to do to find out if somebody's open is ask them if you're open. Everybody's going to say they're open. This is the funny part. If you ask a whole room, I've done this. I've actually done it. A whole room full of people. How many people in this room are open-minded? Raise your hand. Guess what happens? The whole room raises their hand. You're never going to find someone who thinks, oh no, I'm closed-minded. Okay, that doesn't happen. The ego's too big to allow people to be closed-minded. So the challenge is you got to actually ask people. Smart guy like you, I can tell you must be open-minded. Adrian, this guy I work with, Adrian, you're super open-minded, dude. I just want you to know how grateful I am for how open-minded you are. I actually would recommend that you guys actually send that out in some gratitude texts to people that you know are already open-minded.
So smart.
And then that way you can see what it feels like when an open-minded person responds. So think of a couple open-minded people, and you're not selling them on LifeWave. All you're doing is sending them a gratitude text in the morning and just loving them for being open-minded or being whoever they are and how they show up in the world. And just the more you do that, the stronger the relationships will be.
Okay, and next week Anna and I will be in the airport, but our flight doesn't leave till 9:10. So I don't see why we would miss this awesome call because I mean we're not gonna be doing much else in the airport, but we will be in Canada at that point. So we'll have to look at our roaming, but I think we'll be good because I think I have like
Nice.
32 gigabytes. So we'll be in your country. We'll be in Calgary. We both thought Calgary is on the East Coast, but we were both
Yep.
completely wrong.
Yep. Nice, you guys. I love it. Great energy. I'm really looking forward to creating some more tools to make, because I really, this should be easy. This should
100%.
be
Oh, so
simple. It
before
shouldn't be
I
easy.
go,
It should
I
be
will
simple.
create the vault. Yeah, so before I go, I will create the vault and I'll put this training, and we did do another training couple months ago at the most. So
Yep.
I'll put that in there as well. And I'll make
Perfect.
sure, I should probably write this down, brilliant compensation and what the wealthy
Rise.
buy get in there.
Yeah. What the wealthy buy and rise of the entrepreneur. If we got that one. If you can get those links in there, man, we're off to the races for sure on that. And then we'll create our own rad exposure tools. And then we ask all of our team if there was one or two things that we could do or create to make your life and your job easier. What would those one or two things be? And then we collaborate and we all get to build these things together so that when we share them, not only do we know our audience, but we know how they're going to respond because the tools we make are so awesome. We don't have
So
to
would
guess.
you
We're going to be so
suggest,
excited to send them the tools because of how it's going to make them feel.
so like Lori has some people on her team, Anna's still got some people that she's working with. So like with Lori, it would probably be advantageous for her to like tag some people in some different stories, like maybe Dana, people that have fallen away. We're gonna create a new word for that.
Have done
Yeah,
that.
that's a great
Oh,
idea.
okay.
But
And I
That's a
think
great
that if we
idea.
just do that like once a week, then because you're checking in with them as a friend, and then if you do that once a week, then it's not overwhelming to them, right? Like we don't want to be like, oh,
Yeah. And then write this
too
down,
much
Katie,
info.
just so that we can create this is what classifies as an educational experience. Like, okay, if it's 7 to 8 educational experiences before someone is self-educated enough to say yes, then what classifies as an educational experience? And then we'll create a list and tools to go with that. And then it'll be easy.
And I think that for me, I think that from now on, I want to go through like some type of health will or being will before I invite somebody to the actual opportunity. Because if I don't know where they're at, you know,
Yep. Smart idea. That's why it was created in the first place.
I still haven't done my health well.
shit, you better do that tonight.
Well, you're fired, Anna. No,
Shit, we can't get rid of her. She has options to stay on if she wants to or not.
no, wait. Do you guys realize? Do you guys realize this is the only industry that I'm aware of that you can't actually get fired? Do you know how rad that is? Your upline cannot fire you. They could hate your fucking guts. They can't fire you.
Actually, it's funny. I told that to Renee today. I said, I'm going to stay with LifeWave. If you want to work with me or not, that's okay. It's your choice.
So that's you want to talk about job security.
That's
However,
pretty good. Yeah.
if the company doesn't grow, then it could fall away. So our job is to actually help this company and this movement go to a lot of people. So thanks, guys.
And that's why communication is so important, because when we can help each other see our blind spots and see through those thought windows and things like that, then we can help each other grow. And otherwise, that's, I think, the biggest beauty of this or this industry in itself is it's a personal growth program with a compensation plan. Like even the gal that had the shit happen today, by the end of her and my call, she was like, this was such a blessing. I got to see so many of my own triggers. And anybody who that is in the awakening realizes that a trigger is actually a present.
Triggers are good, but they can handle their triggers better when they're actually on the patches already. So we'll get them started as customers, then trigger them. Not the other
Hey,
way
wait for
around.
your triggers, Anna.
Don't
Here
trigger
they
them
come. No, I'm just
first.
kidding. I won't
Don't
trigger you,
trigger.
Anna.
Yeah, if you think you're going to trigger them and they're going to go, oh my God, now that I'm triggered, I just need the patches. That's not really the best way to go.
Shit.
All right.
Can-
Cool, you guys.
Hey,
I got to
thanks,
roll.
guys.
I ask
Have a
a
good night.
question?
Thank you.
Yep.
I
Yes.
want-
Yep. Go ahead.
I watched Brilliant Compensation, but what's the name of the other one that you keep talking about? The other movie?
Ooh, the rise of the entrepreneur with Eric Worre.
Okay.
And if
All
you
right.
and if you guys want, Eric Worre's got a great book out there called GoPro. I would highly recommend reviewing the footnotes from GoPro. Actually, Katie, we have to use Chat GPT to like take all the bullet points from GoPro and make them into something that we can use as a tool, because there's some good stuff there.
I actually have the I'm pretty sure I have the audio tapes for like the CD cassettes for that.
Oh
Yeah,
God, we
there's a
got to
lot of
upload those then. We have to upload those to the vault and have them in there so that people on our team, if
Sure I
they
didn't
want to
give 'em
become
away.
self-educated, they can just click and listen.
I hope I didn't give them away. I'll find them. Okay.
All right.
Thank you guys so much.
Yes,
Okay.
thank you, Chad and Katie, so much.
And you,
Excellent.
all of you for showing up. We'd have nobody to talk to. Chad and I have fun talking, but
No,
it's
we'd be
more fun when
building the
it's
vault,
purposeful.
which is what we did tonight. So I'm
Yes.
grateful that we did so much tonight. We did so much,
Yes.
you guys. We did so much as a team tonight. So I feel the vibe. It's freaking high.
I have to say also it's helping to put my mind on something positive instead because I get stuck in these hamster wheels. And so when I can like shift to something positive to do, now I get to go do something positive instead of focus on something that I can't control anyway. So thank you
Cool.
guys.
Thank
All
you.
right.
Much love. Happy Halloween, everybody.
Bye, guys.
Bye.
Bye. Anna, do you feel complete? I know that you and I, oh, she's gone. Okay. Thanks for being here, Mom.